Well, we do have confirmation from Marshall County E911 that the US 68 Kentucky 80 Eggners Ferry Bridge has been hit by a towboat and barge, and a portion of the bridge has collapsed. We have JP Roberts in the traffic center on the phone. JP, what can you tell us about what's going on?
Report that the bridge had been hit by a towboat, and apparently, from what I can understand and what I've been told, is the middle span of the bridge, the column there was hit, collapsed, and apparently is resting on top of the towboat, is the reports I'm getting. And it's unknown at this point if were any vehicles on the bridge or if there was anyone on the bridge at all. And one of the things that I did learn is that I think this was witnessed by a Kentucky State Police detective who was on his way home. So apparently it was a close call for him, but the bridge itself, like I said, right now, emergency management trying to get to the scene, and they don't want anyone to try to come up to just a sightsee. There's nothing you can see in the dark. Right now they're trying to determine if there is anyone who's in the water and needs help or rescue, so stay back out of the way for now. But the middle span of the bridge has collapsed and apparently on top of the towboat. I'm not sure exactly what time this did occur, but within the last 45 minutes is what I'm getting from the information I have. I'll continue to monitor, Donna, and let you know as soon as I get more information.
What we were hearing on the scanner was that Marshall County's EMS had just put in, or their rescue squad had just put in their boats, and Trigg County was just sending their rescue squads to the scene as well.
Yes, they have boats in the water. Emergency management is there, Kentucky State Police. Now, you can imagine the real problem you're going to have is this is the only link to get people to and from that area across LBL and then on into Trigg County. So a lot of folks use this to cut through. A lot of trucking industry uses it. So this is going to mean you're going to have to go all the way around, and that's going to be a long drive for a lot of folks that are going to have to use the trace and then come across the new bridge below Kentucky Dam to get across Kentucky Lake at this time.
And as someone who has a lot of family that lives in that area, I can tell you what it's like to think about those folks that you know cross that bridge every day and to wonder if they were on it.
Absolutely. You know, this bridge is going to be replaced or was scheduled to be replaced with the new expansion of the project, but it's some years away before they were going to have that bridge up and working.
The bridge opened to traffic in March of 1932, so it had been in operation for a long time. It was closed for 6 months back in 1943 to allow it to be raised to accommodate the higher water levels when Kentucky Lake was impounded. So it had been a long time since there had been a lot of work done on it.
And, Donna, 2,800 vehicles a day are estimated to cross this bridge, so that gives you an idea how much traffic really goes across.
And if it does turn out that there was no one on it at this moment, then it's going to be an absolute miracle.
Absolutely. And I did receive information I was trying to check on that another actual KSP officer was just crossed the bridge just as this impact with the barge occurred after he crossed it. So a close call for several persons have been reported at this time. And like I said, this bridge is a vital link for folks in the southwestern part of western Kentucky.
Again, if you just tuned in, what we're talking about, confirmation now from Marshall County 911 that the US 68 Kentucky 80 Eggners Ferry Bridge has been hit by a towboat and a portion of the bridge collapsed and has fallen, and from what we understand is now resting on a barge. There are several rescue squads in the area that are making their way, looking to see if there were any cars or trucks on the bridge and if there are any people in the water who need help. Thank you, JP Roberts. Anything else we need to know?
I'll get you more updates as they become available.
We'll be here throughout the evening.
Donna, I'm here at the site of Eggners Ferry Bridge, just between Marshall and Trigg counties. As you might expect, traffic is beginning to back up. Everyone needs to avoid this area. The road is closed. We're awaiting official word. Any moment the media is beginning to gather, and we're going to hear a statement from law enforcement officials very shortly. So I would advise everyone to just avoid this area in the area of the Eggners Ferry Bridge because it's just going to get backed up. Traffic is going to continue to do that. Also, we do understand that the local sheriff has said that at this point he has not found any victims. There have been some divers in the water, and at this point no victims have been located. Now that's good news. We'll await and see what else happens. Donna, I'm going to send you a further update in just a bit, but for right now the media is beginning to gather near the site of Eggners Ferry Bridge awaiting an official statement. I'm Candice Freeland for WKYX News.
That's right. The Marshall County Dispatch has confirmed that a towboat strike has caused the Eggners Ferry Bridge to collapse. The main span was struck earlier. There are no cars in the water, was what we were told earlier. But Candy Freeland tells us that right now we are hearing that perhaps that may not be the case. Candy is still at the scene. Candy, what can you tell us?
Good evening, Donna. Yes, that is an unconfirmed report of one possible vehicle in the water. So we are awaiting a word from law enforcement officials still here at the scene. That should be happening just any moment. Let me say something that I think is very important here, Donna. Community members are beginning to gather at the campground and try to walk down and get closer to the scene. Just let me advise against that, because what's going to happen is you're going to create more traffic congestion. Traffic is already being rerouted, so there's really no reason for anyone to come to the campground and try to walk closer, get closer to the scene. It's just not going to accomplish anything positive. So let me advise against that. And I also want to tell you that, again, we are awaiting an official confirmation of exactly what is going on. But yes, Donna, unconfirmed at this point reports of one vehicle in the water. We'll let you know as soon as we find out, and we'll be updating it regularly throughout the night on westkentuckystar.com.
Now, Candy, one thing that we have failed to mention is that earlier we had been told that the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet had planned to restrict traffic to one lane tomorrow to allow electrical work on the bridge's navigation lights. Now, some of the lights had not been working on the bridge. The Coast Guard had notified barge companies about the lighting problems, but that could well have been a factor in the fact that this boat struck the bridge tonight, and the main span was hit and then fell into the water. We were wondering earlier about the depth of Kentucky Lake. The normal winter depth is 354 feet. So that's what those divers out there who are looking to see whether or not there are any cars in the water are going through. They're looking through some 354 feet of water, trying to decide whether or not they're seeing any cars. Earlier tonight, we had been told there were no cars in the water and that there were no injuries reported, but Candy Freeland at the scene is now reporting unconfirmed reports that there may be a car in the water. Your best source throughout the evening, as we keep this updated for you, is going to be our website, westkentuckystar.com, where you can see a picture of the scene. Again, you're advised not to go to the scene. Not only is the bridge a problem for transportation getting through there, also do not go to the scene on the river, because that too has been closed by the Coast Guard. This is going to be a major transportation snag for our area in the weeks to come, because that bridge is used by so many people to get where they're going, and the detour is going to be so far out of the way. We'll keep you up to date throughout the days to come on this situation here in our region. The center section of the Eggners Ferry Bridge collapsed tonight due to a motor vessel striking the bridge. Now, the motor vessel Delta Mariner, a 312-foot-long vessel which hauls solid rocket boosters for the space program, struck the main span of the US 60 Kentucky 80 Eggners Ferry Bridge around 8:10 tonight. The pilot reported that he was running without any barges in tow at the time. The captain said that there were no vehicles on the span of the bridge that he hit at the time of the incident, but witnesses say that there were 4 vehicles on the bridge itself at the time of the incident. One of those was an off-duty Kentucky State trooper who stopped one vehicle from going any further and running off the pavement. The captain also reported that there were no injuries among the 20 crew members on board the vessel at the time. The vessel is afloat and holding position just downstream from the bridge. Now, reports say that the collapsed portion of the bridge is laying on top of the vessel. The Coast Guard has closed Kentucky Lake, the Tennessee River, to boat traffic at the site. Emergency crews are on scene, and officials ask people to stay out of the area at this time. Now, we know that the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet had planned to restrict traffic to one lane Friday to allow electrical work on the bridge's navigation lights. The Coast Guard had notified barge companies that some of the lights were not working on the bridge. WestKentuckyStar.com will have more details as soon as they become available.